So it really is like a roadmap that your soul has designed through all of these different creation codes that happen around the different points of the star, with the center being the soul destiny. So this, knowing these codes really helps you to stretch into and activate how you can live in closer alignment to your soul's purpose. You know, this is what we all want to know, right? Now, the system is you know, so many thousands of years old. It uses the Star of David because it comes from the Sefer Yetzirah, the Hebrew book of creation. But it's even older than that, because the way this system is coming into our lives now happened around the 1980s. This channeler named Frank Alper resurrected this ancient system. He was channeling Moses, and he was also a highly revered and respected channeler of the Atlantean times. So he was bringing in all of these influences and information from even more ancient times, because that Star of David is actually Merkaba, this ancient mode of transportation for your soul. So it's got a lot of really deep meanings and layers to this system. It just goes on forever and ever. It's vast, and that's why I love studying it, because there's so much more that you can look into and understand and contemplate through this system. These are the Hebrew letter system that functions through light language, through the vibration of sound. So that's why your name wanted to call in these particular codes, you know, that you work throughout your whole life. So it looks like this. And the reason why the birth name is so important. So for example, this is my birth star here. And I used to have a different name. I renamed myself actually when I was 18. So I didn't want my father's name, so I took on the name of my female lineage. And so I didn't give any consideration to my birth name at all until then. Until then, I looked at this system. Okay. That's why I'm saying the birth name is so amazingly important, because I hadn't considered my original name at all. And you know, that was a long time ago. And then when I started to understand these codes, and it really point for point echoed why certain things happened in my life, and different characteristics and challenges and things that I'm good at. It was amazing, and what I need and want to bring out to be more aligned in that soul purpose. So then you're probably wondering, well, what about our other names? So it happens in this system of overlays. While the birth name remains the bottom layer like a cake, all of the other names come in like layers. So they definitely influence and change certain frequencies and vibrations that come in. But the birth name will be the most dominant throughout your whole life. All right, before we get started, I just want to explain these numbers and triangles. So the downward pointing triangle is the physical triangle. You'll notice that inside it says physical goals, physical challenges, physical talents. Then the upward pointing triangle is your spiritual triangle. That's spiritual talents, spiritual goals, spiritual challenges. So what happens is, when we're born, we're really working through our life in the three-dimensional density of what are you going to do for your career, and all of these challenges, dealing with your emotional body and finding our way in the world. And that then around mid-30s, and definitely by 40, we start to move into the spiritual triangle. And all of these codes start to become the focus in our life. So probably, so when we look at the down pointing physical triangle, probably these codes you've really, really worked through. So it'll be interesting to see what people say. Now, what I've done, if you want to do this later on, after you've discovered what your codes are, you can score yourself and say, like, how activated is this spiritual goal? How much have I aligned with the positives of this code, and how much still remains in the shadow side? So then you know exactly what you need to focus on, or get help with removing blocks, or whatever it is in your next healing session, or whoever it is that you're working with, to help, lift your energy and put you into higher frequencies. You can work on that specific aspect. Hear that so hard right now with that part of it for people who are out of work.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just see if I can get my video working. But I'm not going to lie, I look the pits at the moment because I've been in the
Look,
garden.
can you see the screen I'm showing? Because I want you to see your star.
Yes, I can see you now.
Okay. Great.
Start video. Oh, there we go. You might be able to see me.
Oh, there you are. Yeah. Oh, what a pretty color behind you. Yes.
Right, let's have a look at this. Oh, hang on. I can see the star now.
Yeah. So what's happening now, if you missed the beginning, I'll just say quickly, because everybody's heard this so many times now, the physical triangle, the down triangle, is your earlier part of life, from about 35, from 0 to 35. And around age 40, we start shifting into more mental dimensions and higher frequencies on a spiritual realm that want to come online in our lives. So then you have the spiritual triangle. Each one gives you a goal, challenge, and talent. So then the center is the soul destiny. So we'll start over here with the challenge areas for you. You have the 6-6, which is the great creative code. This is an interesting one to have in challenges, because it indicates that you have a lot of extreme creative ideas coming in some form of the arts. And even there have been so many readings that also for business people, they say, well, I'm not creative at all in the arts, but they also have the 6 code. So it can go also to the business side of the spectrum, in the great skills ability in either the arts or business.
Excellent.
But the challenge, and you've got it in the challenge position, so probably this will resonate with you. You can let me know. It's like having so many ideas that you become scattered, and you don't ever resolve any one of them. Like, you'll get another idea before you finish resolving the first one. It's like a shiny object. You keep going to the next.
Yeah, I do tend to be quite busy with lots of different things going on in my life.
Okay. Yeah, it's extremely busy and full of ideas, but maybe too many new ideas.
Yeah, it's like I don't have enough time to complete everything that I'd like to complete.
So now that you know that this is in your creation code, on purpose, your soul designed this for this to be your biggest challenge. Now that you know that, you can practice sticking with it, because it also becomes like a manifesting issue. The more that you don't finish stuff, it also affects your ability to manifest what else is possible.
Okay, brilliant.
So that's why it's important to really get into that. Is like one of the positives here is the Zen-like concentration, where you get the visionary ideas and just get into that drive to finish it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, this time is good, because I'm using this time as a blessing, because it does mean I can get things done and completed.
Yeah, that's great. That's super positive that you were able to spin it that way. I'm feeling the same. I love this. It's like a gift of time. There's
Definitely. Gift of time, definitely.
mhm. So your other codes here, the 17-8 is also in the challenge position. I know this one quite well because I have the same one in the same place. And it's the ability to speak it in the most positive sense. It is the divine mouth. It is being able to say what others cannot say, sometimes quite ruthlessly. And so you might get people who oppose you, but you know, maybe you need to. That means you're doing the right thing. But as a challenge side, it's the fear of speaking, the fear of being seen. And because of the 8, because it's a 17-8, 1 plus 7 is 8, the 8 brings in this whole aspect of boundaries and getting too much of other people's stuff.
Yeah. And that's been an empath as well.
Yeah, this is definitely the empath code. Yep. But the fact that you have this great ability of speech and to some people to the point of being able to speak in the different light languages, whoever speaks in the light languages, they probably have the 17 code in their chart. It's like that kind of healing through speech. It really has all to do with the higher frequencies coming in through how you're able to articulate and communicate. So any kind of media careers or interviews or TV, what do you do for a living?
I'm a gymnastics coach,
Oh, wow.
but that's only recently. I worked in an office for 30 years, and then, like you were saying about the triangle, in my 40s, I took the plunge and trained as a gymnastics coach and have my own business now.
Oh, that's great. So you made a huge shift in branching out into your own
Yeah,
business. Yeah,
definitely. And I have no regrets at all, no regrets.
fantastic. Well, let me just keep going on here and we'll see how that plays out. It's, well, actually, your physical goals, the 8-8, that's probably it. This is the most physical earth code that there is, and it's in your physical goals. It has your ability to be really in your body and grounded and just loving being here as a human in this lifetime and working with other people. But again, it has the boundary issue. So you might get too wrapped up in the other people.
Mm,
But as your goal position, which is a very positive point on the star, you would have that very charismatic, people attracting ability and just really being grounded in your body. You also have 2 really, really strong, actually amazing codes down here in both of your talents. So in the physical talents, the 5-5, this is this is divine being psychic.
wow, that's good.
Uh-huh. how, how does that resonate with your life
Well,
more?
get very frustrated sometimes because I do sit in circle, and sometimes I don't really feel that I'm connected. And although I have had lots of little things, but I don't hear spirit, I don't see spirit. Um, I doubt myself a lot with my spiritual connections. I have done some channeled writing. Manifestation is quite a good. Um, I do have quite a lot of success with manifestation, and I have done card readings for people. I'm also a Reiki healer. So, and work with crystals and chakras. But as far as the actual connection with spirit, I don't feel I have that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, because the 9-9 now, that is the channeling. That is the highest code of the entire system, is the 9. And so you have two really powerfully spiritual. Both of these codes are not physical at all. They're completely um, spiritual and psychic. And so the 5 is also being free spirited and super sensitive in the best way. We need to be sensitive in order to bring in the psychic intuition and being able to see. And the 9s give you that extreme ability to not only do it yourself, but to also share it out with people, to be a catalyst in the world. It's the catalyst.
Definitely.
So your soul really gave this to you on purpose as a talent, to be this unstoppable power, to bring this to people, these spiritual gifts.
Yes. Yes. And I think sometimes that's the thing. I mean, we can share things with other people, but then there's certain things that we think people are going to think I'm a complete Fruit Loop if um
Yeah, and that's the 17-8, not being able to speak your truth. The
yeah,
5,
and being sensitive.
yeah, and the 5 can also indicate that you're here from another lifetime when you were like suppressed for talking about these things, like you're saying. It can be a past life issue that's still playing out.
Right. I am very much, I do totally believe past lives, and I've had past life regression, and I definitely know 100% that I was there at that particular time.
Wow, so you remember past lives where you were persecuted for this?
I don't remember them as such, but I had a past life regression, and ever since then, I've never been to Scotland in my life, and the time that I went to Scotland, I actually felt my soul reaching. Literally, I knew that I was home. It was so strong. I've never felt like that before, and when I had my past life regression, of course, I went back to Scotland, and I know the name of the person I was, and I died in childbirth, and really, really interesting. But I know there's a definite soul connection there. And Egypt as well. I've never been to Egypt, but I've got a massive, strong affinity with Egypt, and also the sort of Afghanistan, Nepal, that sort of region as well.
Hmm.
There's definitely some connections there. So it's
All
very
very
interesting.
highly spiritual places. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So let's finish up here with these two codes. You have the 2, and again the 2 in your soul destiny. So if you didn't hear the first time around, the spiritual goals is the link, is the gateway for what you can do to access the soul destiny. So the soul destiny is the 11-2, and this is somebody who really likes to um, bring all kinds of thinking together. Have you always been studying vast amounts of different ways of thinking, different philosophies, and assimilating them, putting them together into your own way of thinking?
I struggle a bit with that. I honestly do, because I don't. Sometimes a lot of my friends come out with this really deep stuff, and I don't feel that I can do that. I do struggle with that.
Mm.
And,
Okay.
and analysing different things and then coming up with my own scenario. I do struggle with that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So maybe you still have several of the challenge aspects. You can see here on the negative aspects list, it's integrating. Oh, it has the life and death polarity, right? Integrating life and death. Like, also not wanting to let go of possessions.
Okay.
Hmm. And what you're saying, the struggle to understand and create structures, to understand how all the parts work together.
Mm,
It can also be a physical building code. People who work with their hands and actually construct things.
yeah.
Being able to assimilate the new concepts and structure can be a challenge. Um, Dysfunctional belief systems, maybe you inherited or grew up with belief systems that you have a hard time getting out of that structure.
Yeah, definitely, that I'm not good enough. That's one that I grew up with. I was never good enough for my parents.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yep. I've had to do that one too.
They never showed it, but I do know that they do think it. But they never showed me.
Well, that actually goes into your two. That's the little symbol is like a spring, and it's all about really being sensitive to that kind of family emotional shock. Like your whole family can be pressuring, like sitting on you, and you're compressed this spring. You're ready to burst.
Mm,
Do
okay.
you get those kinds of intense sensitivity about that?
I, definitely about self-doubt as well. I am getting better though. I'm a lot better than I used to be. And I do
Good.
believe in myself a lot more than I ever used to.
Wow, that's great. Well, the polarity of this is foolishness to wisdom. So the self-doubt could also be a piece of this, because it's like instead of being perceived as wise, you will act foolish or act silly, and then people don't have to take you seriously. Did you ever struggle with that?
I wouldn't say struggle to take me seriously, but sometimes I would have done things or said things and then afterwards thinks, why did I do that? Um,
Yeah. Somebody with the two code can have that a little bit more than I think we all have what you just said,
like
but
that
you
thing,
might have
fools
it
rush
even
in.
more.
Yeah, fools rush in.
And just learning from the mistakes, just all kinds of mistakes, messing up every time and time again, and then, but learning from that and becoming
Mm,
wise out of it.
definitely.
It's a resilient energy too. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is really amazing with the 11-2 coming in. I just want to go back to that one more time, because it's really about being a truth seeker. So if you can hold on to that, the expansiveness and the bringing together of pieces, and and what you need to do is to be that emotional resilient spring for yourself, but also for others, because you're a catalyst. You're here to bring about great change. And so the twos, they can be like, and the 11 twos, a rock of support for people.
Yes.
And keep looking, because you can perceive, you can pick up things about people, messages that they need to hear, or things to warn you or to steer you and guide you. So keep tuning in, because you definitely have the ability, and not be afraid to speak your truth.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for sharing.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah. If this interests you, please message me for a free consultation or book a session at the link below. Thank you for watching.